I guess the oh yes thing is a fruit punch. What was that? The thing with the giant red canister of fruit punch that broke through walls and terrorized children. I don't actually remember what that brand is. I remember the giant fruit punch bowl, but I don't remember the actual brand. Huh. That's actually kind of amusing. Okay, so anyway, last we left off, we had just finished up in this temple, and we're ready to move on with our lives. Now, rather than rest here, I am actually going to head back to my stronghold, because I would like to rest in my stronghold whenever possible. So we're going to pop all the way back there to Cape Noir. The other thing is that it also eats a little bit of time, which I can use to build more shit, which I do like. Okay, so we're popping back to my stronghold. We're going to take a nap here. I might talk to people. I think I'm going to talk to people first. So I'm going to talk to some people, see what they have to say, get to know some of these people. How may I be of service? Tell me about the Adir. I've been gone for more than a year now, but I suspect I'll always think of the forest and fields of Adir as home. We've thousands of years of history and tradition behind us, and there's a sense of dignity and responsibility that comes with that. Of course, there's baggage as well. Our imperial past is still fresh in the minds of many, and as you may have noticed here, so has it been difficult to adjust? People here are informal, hot-blooded, more attentive to insult than duty, but as long as one avoids provocation, it's easy to get along. I've gotten accustomed to keeping my thoughts to myself anyway. So, how long were you on Gilded Vale? Not much longer than you, as you saw. It was hardly a haven that had been advertised. Any thoughts? Mayor Weld urged you to seek the leaden key agents in Defiance Bay, yes? If his condition is any warning, we should find them with all haste. If his condition is any warning, we should possibly take what he says with a grain of salt. Just a thought. Well, I guess talking to a crazy watcher is better than talking to no watcher at all. So, I was wondering about Aethys. What is there to know about Aethys?
Find religion. Maybe you want to start with a god that hasn't been burned to dust. I won't stop you. Aethys, he was a young man with a silver crown. Carried a candle around with him. Sounds like I'm giving a bad eulogy here.
He was a lot of different things to different people, I guess. Rebirth, redemption, light. Out in the country, he's gone, the farmer. Who helps all things pass, seasons and people both. He watches over the weak that's gone, season balance is made right. You can see why all the copperless rowdies around here might take a liking to someone like that. He was real popular for a time. These days, you won't find too many worshipping Aethys in the open. It's hard to know who does in private and who's given up. It feels like I'm the last one sometimes. If that's the case, he deserves all the mourning. So you still worship him.
I don't suppose he expects me to show up at his temple these days. Not much left to do for him other than keep his memory alive and keep hoping that he's just been playing a joke on all of us these past 15 years.
As far as I know, he hasn't said anything to anybody since the Godhammer detonated. Let's see. Why worshiping them is a really rude question that is 100% uniquely Arctole. Very few of my characters are going to ask that. Well, if it turns out he's not dead and I gave up on him, I'd have betrayed my god twice. Even the god of redemption's got to have standards. I'd probably be reborn as a fat Almaz force. It's not really it, though. Not all of it, anyway. Guess it's more I still believe in the things he believed in. I just hope his death doesn't mean the death of those things as well. Sometimes it looks that way.
It's raised that way. My family's been Aethasian going way back. Suppose it wasn't much of a choice at first. Don't know for sure why my family started worshipping him. Probably because of Gon looking after folks like us.
That facial expression was not for him, by the way. I just put in my eye drops before starting the stream, and now I have a terrible taste in my mouth. Could just as well be that my ancestor did something so bad only Aethys could forgive. It'd explain a lot about where I got some of my less respectable traits. Is that why?
There was something I genuinely liked about Aethys. Always. Like he understood people better than the other gods. Knew all our flaws and weaknesses and accepted us for that. Folks are at their worst when they're afraid. A god like Aethys, he made you realize there was nothing to fear. Made you a better person. Of course, he goes away for a few years and look what happens.
So what made you think Whiteman didn't speak?
Was his actions. Not when he started his rebellion. Not even when he took over Ray at Ceres. When he sent his armies into Deerwood.
Up to that point, he was sticking up for his people. That's what Aethys does. At least the gone part of him. Those farmers were starving and their government didn't lift a finger. I figured if it wasn't Aethys himself, at least he had the right idea. But then he sent his armies across the border, even crossed it himself in the end. Word was he was chasing refugees that escaped the rebellion, wanted to punish them, and punish us for allowing them to live here. That didn't fit for me. Those are the deeds of a vengeful god. Skane, or Wodka, maybe. Or just a man who'd lost his sense. I still have trouble believing it, but there's no one left to ask if it's true.
You sure you don't want to talk about something more pleasant? Like the War of Black Trees, or the Legacy, or something?
It's eye-opening seeing just how naked you are when you got no god to protect you. The Saints' War was a hard time to be a Deerwooden. People thought it was end times. They talked big about how we were going to defeat a god, but I don't think there was a man from the White Marsh that didn't think he was going to die. It does something to you thinking you're going to die at someone else's hands. There's a rage that comes, indignation. Imagine a whole country full of that. Might have been Coldmorn that started it, town near the border. They let Widewind march right on through. The rest of Deerwood cursed their names till the end of the war. Some say it was the Eothasians there that persuaded the town not to oppose the armory. Others say it was just cowardice. It was like the Legacy that way. No one knew the real reason, so they just picked whichever one suited what they wanted to believe. Either way, town was burning before the first ashes of Aethys hit the ground, and it felt good to the people here to be in control after being so helpless. So the fires spread. A lot of us Eothasians went the way of our god. There were claims from the Church of Magran that she'd actually commanded the purges. I found that hard to believe. Sounded to me like people doing what they wanted, wrapped in their god around them like she was a cloak. Then again, that's what I thought about Widewind.
What's on your mind?
Let's ask about you. What'd you do before?
Other than the war, I never strayed too far from where you found me. Farming, mostly. I was never much for cities. Never learned a trade. In my younger days, I thought I was going to go preach the word of Aethys. Just in our temple there. My parents encouraged it. Made so much trouble for them growing up. They used to say it'd be best if I got in good with the god of redemption. Of course, us blowing him up probably didn't help my chances there. But if anybody'd forgive you for blowing him up, it'd be Aethys.
I really like this guy, and I really like the Aethys, tagline. But if anybody'd forgive you for blowing him up, it'd be Aethys. That is such... What a great god. That's such a fun, deity to have.
They did. It was strange timing, because we just won the war. They celebrated when I came home. There was music and dancing. Trumbull used half his grain making this big honey cake. I still dream about that cake. Like having the best lover of your life, but only for one night. And they were all sorry to hear about my brother. It took a while for word of the purges to reach us. Eothasians being murdered in the streets. Coldmorn and the like. No way would they let something like that happen in Gilded Vale. That's what they all said. But the weeks went by and the purges spread. Pretty soon they weren't so sure my brother fought for Deerwood. And they weren't so sure I did. Caught me by surprise after all the celebrating. Should have seen it coming after the tailor said he was going to fit me for some new clothes, but then all he wanted was my neck measurement.
Really?
Nah, not that last part. But you had to think about it. Says a lot about the place I've been calling home all these years. I'm sure my parents are still wondering the same thing. The Eothasian purges were like this madness had come over the town, like a disease. Seems like when you see something like that, your instinct is to wait for it to pass, even when you know it probably won't. The family whose farm I worked on, they had a little hollowborn girl. And they heard the Animancers had this cure, salvation it was called. They went running.
I would actually like to point something out about medieval dynamics that I think is actually pretty important in this particular context. And it's something that tends to be glossed over in sort of fantasy, but it's actually really important to the foundations of feudalism, which is if you have a cruel lord, you have a lord who's basically a total douchebag to you, it's in your best interest to leave. But most people do not have the means to leave. They don't have any money, right? They don't have any capacity to leave their village. Even assuming that they did leave, assuming that they did have the capacity to leave, as a peasant in vast swaths of history, not all the time, but large portions of history, if you were a peasant and you went to another town, they would not let you in. They would not let you come there. If you were a merchant, a member of the merchant class, then you could travel around. But as a member of the peasant class, you couldn't, right? It was not something that was possible to do. You couldn't just be a farmer and then just go off somewhere. And that's, I think, a relatively important aspect of feudalism because, like, you can ask these questions of, like, why are these people sticking around? And a good portion of the reason is not because of any psychological reason. It's if they left, they would probably be killed on their way out. And if they weren't killed on their way out, they might be killed at their destination. And even if they got to a destination, they probably wouldn't actually be allowed to stay. And they just keep moving until they starved to death. So that's the problem that, like, the peasants had back in the day. It's very, very, very difficult to be a medieval peasant. It's not an easy thing. And I do think that it's sort of swept under the rug a little bit. The fact that this guy is a farmer who doesn't own a farm, right? He doesn't own any land, right? He worked someone else's farm. And the situation that he has is not an easy one.
This salvation, they were putting animal souls in children. You might have heard about it. Giving them enough personality to care for themselves. You can guess how that turned out. Matter of time, the children broke down. Became wild things. Monsters.
Okay, gotcha. It was like, this seems vaguely off topic, but it's on topic.
These farmers put the family dog's soul in their little girl. For a while, the girl, she's making eye contact, she's feeding herself, albeit in a kind of messy way. And one day she snaps. Found her gnawing on her brother's bones. Had to chain her up, put her in a cow pen. And the mother, she wouldn't have anything to do with the girl after that. But the father, he'd visit every day. Feed her chickens, toss water on her once in a while to get the dirt off. Most of the village, they'd whisper about her. Poor man, they'd say, sick with grief. He was just waiting for his daughter to look up one day and recognize her papa. He was waiting for her to get better. Didn't understand that at the time, of course, but these days I think about him a lot.
Just my parents now. They took a ship back to Deer when the purges started. Wanted me to go with them, but I didn't see things like they did. Been a long time since I've seen them. I really should visit, but did you say they took a ship? What? Member of the nobility right here. Not necessarily, but for some reason I feel like I haven't had much felt like leaving home, etc. Good thing they chased me out, or I might have never left. Technically, I brought you out.
Want your firstborn son to be dutiful, honest, put thought into everything he did. A real pain in my ass. Made me look bad about every way he could. It wasn't something he tried to do, but of course that just makes it worse. Not that he didn't get into trouble himself. He was just better about feeling guilty after. We used to have this farmer near us, Harroward. Couldn't stop talking about how well he cared for his chickens. How the feathers were the whitest in town. Convinced the butcher to pay him double what the other farmers got. Me and Woden got tired of hearing it. I was maybe 11, 12 at the time. We borrowed about 6 different dyes from the dyer one day. Dyed Harroward's chickens every color but white. Next morning, the butcher comes knocking, asking for 6 of his whitest chickens. We were feeling great, up until Harroward saw what we'd done. He just got on his knees and cried right there. All those colorful chickens around him, not knowing what to make of it. I thought it served him right, but I could tell Woden had other thoughts. Sure enough, the next day, every one of those chickens had been scrubbed out. They weren't white, mind you, but Woden sure tried. Never said a word to me about it, but I knew. That was Woden. My parents, they always let us be who we were. Never told me to be more like him or anything like that. Which was good, because I was never gonna. What's on your mind?
Okay, we're done with him. So, that's kind of interesting, the brother. I kind of feel like they were fine. Like, that, I think that's an amusing prank. Because, you know the chickens were white yesterday, right? Like, it's dye. Somebody dyed your chickens as a prank. Like, why would you cry about that? Don't cry. Just be angry like a normal human being. Be pissed off about it.
It's good to be on the road again. A wanderlust is nothing rare in the people of Rawatai. But often I think myself alone in loving the land as much as the sea. What shall we see next, I wonder?
Sailor man, sailor man. But yeah, I'm going to save the fire guy for last because he's the fire guy. How are you holding up? I'll make it. Besides, Takawa women have an eye for scars. I'll finally be as popular as the Cannoneers. Oh, that's interesting. Is that from the wound that he has? Tell me about yourself.
What shall I tell? I am Kanarua, born in the royal city of Takoa, from which rules the Ranganui. There. That is a solemn enough start. I am a Lord Chanter in the college there. Or, at least, a student of the Chanter.
Any family? I have 5 older siblings and my mother and father. My father's a coral mason and favored by the Ranganui. It was him who engineered the Gate of the Great Teeth. That sounds like an awesome gate. I want that gate. My 2 brothers have taken up my father's work, and my mother encouraged my sisters to sail. Leaves me free to pursue other things. There's a wealth of knowledge just within the walls of the college, and beyond it, more than I could learn in 10 lifetimes. But I can try all the same. So what made you
I was on the usual path at first. Theology, the traditions, when the Gate of Great Teeth was given. It was all my father had hoped for. The greatest commission he had ever received. But it was also a sign that Rawatai was changing, looking inward. Meanwhile, I was neck-deep in the writing of a dozen nations, marveling at all the things that lay beyond our borders.
And in so many of those books and records I found accounts of ancient Engwith. The Adirans hold great hunger for Engwithan relics, and why shouldn't they? It was a civilization from which the Glonfathans learned to read souls. I decided that my 3rd degree would be in history and that I would study the Engwithans. They were at the heart of so much discussion abroad, so many discoveries. It drew some mockery. We'd watched Adir draw itself into several conflicts with the Glonfathans over these ruins. Takawa had its own concerns. And soon I found it, a section of the Tanvi Ora Toha, in the Adiran translation of the ancient Engwithan script, just there, without explanation. It seemed like a gift from the gods. So, tell me. What? I'd love to have more information. Like, where did you find this? What is... Like, all this info is interesting. My eldest brother thinks we spent our days in song, weaving wreaths from flowers, but the truth is far less exciting than that. The college preserves what knowledge our people have gathered. I would have said that the lore chanters are Rautai, for without them, we would have no beginning, no sense of how far we've come. We would forget ourselves with every generation. I'm only a student yet, but someday I'll return and tell the Keeper what I've learned, and she will add my verses to the chant. Let's see, what is the Gate of Great Teeth? Much as it sounds, a maze of walls like the teeth of some nautical terror. It sits outside the city and guards Takawa from invaders and storms. The storms have always been more trouble. Nuatanri, the angry titans, throwing themselves against Rautai's shores. Invaders I'm not so sure about, but perhaps I'm like the man who, being dry, throws off his rain cloak during a storm. So my mother would have me believe. Hello. What's a Ranganui? A king, our great king, ruler of all of Rautai. He's led our people well, and he has treated my family very well. My father and he are great friends, as much as one can be friends with a king. Okay, more questions. This is a lot of info he has. Tell me about Rautai.
Ah, Rautai. Shall I describe the pearl-white sands, the sapphire waters, the multi-hued tiles of the rooftops, like a mosaic upon the coast? So,
You should. I could listen to you talk about things all day. I don't know. He has sort of like, I mean, because he's like the literary character. He has a very poetic way of speaking, which makes, I guess he's a chanter. Tell me about the Kingdom of Rautai. It's a long journey by ship to the north, past Middle and across the sea. We've settled much across the Gulf and established more recent trading colonies all along the coast. We live as best we can, like anyone else. Our land is plagued by storms, and so we stand together, whatever quarter of Rautai we hail from. Otherwise, we'd never survive.
Takoa is doubly famed, a royal city and home to the Coral Harbor. The Ranganui's palace is there, and we've a fleet of royal ships sitting outside the Gate of Great Teeth. Every so often, you'll hear the roar of a cannon being tested.
The finest ships in Rautai, and so the world, are anchored there, and some of our brightest minds toil away at the artillery. My mother, for instance. Myself, I have no talent with gunpowder. Takawa is also home to the Lore College, of course, and we get a great many people traveling long distances to speak with the Lore Keeper, or else hear the chants and peruse the books. At least that's how it was when I was younger. Things were a little different when I left. Uh-oh. How so? You might say the winds are changing. The Pahari, they are traditionalists in a way. The Ranganui's son stands among their number. Talk at the dinner table has changed from how far a fleet Rautai's ship might sail to how well defended our borders are. How far we've turned from our old ways. Then talk turns of barring Adiran and Valian merchant ships, and things were difficult when I left. There was much arguing amongst the elders. I trust the king has kept the peace, but I worry sometimes that things have taken a turn for the worst. Protect their borders from what? They're a naval power, which is actually difficult as an island nation. It's actually very difficult to be a naval power, so maybe that's the problem that they have, is that they realize, oh, all of these people that actually have, trees have an easier time building ships, and so our navy isn't strong enough to actually handle it if somebody were to attack us. Maybe. I don't know. But barring merchant ships is always a just terrible idea. You always want more trade. Oh, I'm a regular firebrand. If you ask the other chanters, I don't see why I can't appreciate our traditions and chart a better future. But so goes the debate. So, I'm going to go with number 4, because this is like a weird place to say you miss. It sounds like you miss home. So is there a lot of artillery? Rautai has a lot of artillery. We've made great advances with explosives. One of our artillery's masters advised on the Godhammer bomb during the Saints' War, actually. In Rautai itself, our efforts are more modest. Bombards, cannons. We're having some luck with mortars. One might ask my sister if you ever visit Takawa. She captains the Ratuana. She knows far more than I do, and enjoys great fame for it. It may not be very traditional, but even the most strident demagogue won't touch the subject of artillery. They'd lose what support they've gathered. Sounds like you missed out. Some parts of it. Those silver cliffs, the sea, those at least no one can change. Yes, you can. Yes, we can. I boarded the ship for a deer. The sunrise was gold upon the water, and I nearly left overboard and swam for home. That's so funny. So do the Ama live there? Far from it. The Ama arrived more recently and formed the greater number, but others have joined us, so long as they call themselves subjects of the Ranganui. Some of my neighbors were Orlans, for instance. Fine people, though they care little for the sea. Okay. And we've got more. If they cared little for the sea, then why would they be living... Like, why would they have moved there? That seems strange. I would think that the people who live there probably love the sea just as much as anyone else who lives there. So what's the second book? Ooh.
It's not really a book. It's been passed down over the years in the form of a chant. I actually found it a little strange at first, seeing it set down in stone. It's not quite the same as a song of worship, though we have paeans to the gods as well. More a kind of moral guide. It gives us something to aspire to. The, model of a virtuous citizen of Rawatai.
So why would
There have
Further?
been arguments as to the chant's true interpretation. New translations even. But any rendition that I find in the ruins of England will predate those translations by 2,000 years. And finding it here also proves that we still have much to gain from trading with other cultures.
Aha! He has an agenda.
I'd lie if I said I'm not looking forward to seeing the look on everyone's faces when I get back. But in the long term, I just think that we can learn a lot from the Engwithians. A civilization like that is something to aspire to. A model for Rawatai as a whole, and not just its people. And I want to prove that all of this is worthwhile. Traveling, seeing the world for what it is. It's been so different from sitting in the chanter hall and studying books.
You came all this way just to win an argument? I love it!
More or less. It wasn't a popular theory when I suggested it. The idea that we shared the Tanvi Oratoha with some older culture idea doesn't mean it's not true. It doesn't help that my family is from the Deadfire Islands. If I had a copper pot for every chanter who suggested that it's just not in my nature to conquer. My siblings, my parents, they make up for it. They build walls and cannons and ships. I've tried to explain. It isn't that I think those things aren't necessary, but if Rawatai closes itself off from trade, it turns on its own people over tradition, we will fall behind, and then we'll be the ones getting conquered. I think my father tries to understand at least.
Let's see, so... I don't think that Ark would think that a rock is going to crumble away underground in storage somewhere. I mean, so this seems like a strange question to ask. Maybe somebody who's more knowledgeable than me and this character might think, oh, well, because of such and such thing, rocks do in fact crumble underground without any wind or water erosion to cause problems. But I certainly am unaware of anything that would cause it to happen, so let's see. I'm going to go ahead. So describe this virtuous citizen.
Dutiful, learned, honest. The sticking point is loyal. Loyal to the people of Rawatai above all others. Fearless in their defense and bold in aspiration. Tireless in battle or industry. An inspiration to one's people. But it seems it's not that far a leap from there to the idea that we must cast out foreign influence.
I'm actually curious if this country, because this is an island nation, I'm wondering if whether this country is inspired by Japan, because the whole conflict that they're having is actually like that happened in Japan over the course of probably thousands of years, actually. Because before it happened with the Europeans, it happened with the Chinese and other nations as well. So it's not like it's the first time that it happened. The more recent time. So is that what you aspire to be?
Want to be a good citizen?
No, apparently. You think Anglicans were the true
I don't
authors?
know that the distinction is necessarily important. Rauatai has a long history, and our people have come from many different places. It matters less who wrote it than that I have found pieces of the verses all around the world. Wherever it came from, it will be Rauatai that decides what becomes of it. All the races and peoples of our kingdom coming together to create a great empire. You see, then, that I am loyal in my way.
So, let's see. 100 by the London Key. So it seems it's all rather absurd. What harm could I possibly do them by finding this text? Perhaps they don't like Rauatai? So, how did this begin? I ran into them in Adir, or rather they sought me out. In Adir, there were many people who had observed the Angwithan ruins in Deerwood, and I spent some time conferring with experts. In the libraries, I found accounts of sites in Ixamiddle, and it was there that I traveled next. But just before that, I found myself approached by a woman in dark robes who bade me abandon my duties for my own safety. I ignored her, of course. But I began to have a sense that after that of being followed. And after that, well, 1 ambush on the road I would call misfortune, but 3? So who are these people? I thought it only fair to delve into their activities in turn. I found word of a leaden key, but past that is all ravings and superstitions. I might as well have gone around asking whether somebody had ever seen a whale flying through the sky. Some might well tell me yes, but the validity of their accounts is questionable. You don't seem terribly worried about this. They haven't had much luck. The last one came up on me at a dig site and slipped on a muddy beam. I tried to catch him, reflex I should think, but he went right over the side and down 100 feet. I'm not really sure what he had in mind, but I doubt that it was it. Let's see. This is funny, actually. He says a chanter's purpose lies in telling the telling of stories. As a Sullivan, I immediately read this lies in a slightly different way. A chanter's purpose is to tell lies in stories. Do you know anything about this place? It was a marvel! An ugly, crumbling marvel, but even so, it's overshadowed by what it sits upon. But the keep itself can tell you just as much as about Adir and settlement. A very rigid people, I find. Okay, so we've got... I'm actually going to save this first. Not because I'm terribly concerned about anything happening, but because I just spent so much time talking to people that I should probably save my progress. Okay, let's talk to our friend here, Mr. Fireman. And I have really trash stats for conversations. This guy has like all sorts of like depth to him that's really interesting. I thought I felt your eyes on me. Now come the words. So,
If
questions.
doubts and curiosity plague you, you're skinning your knuckles on the wrong door.
So why were we supposed to be? The why of it is you're a watcher. A watcher runs 2 roads of why. For me, it's more a matter of what. There was a time when I wouldn't have spared a thought for your words, or even bothered with you. But now, seeking out watchers is what I do, to put the truth to them. See which of the 2 ways they bend. What kind of truth? Either you're a dry field in need of a harvest burning, or you're lost in darkness. Either way, you can see differently than others. I can tell by the way that you noticed the staff first off. Not many people can see it at first, nor the etchings of the flame, but your eyes traced the path. That I could see. So which are you? A dry field or lost in blah? The day we don't trade that question back and forth is the day our paths no longer need to be joined, and the trial The trial is done. So you don't know either. You know this nation is disease. Don't need to be a watcher to see it in the children, the politics, the men that stalk the roads with knives in hands and murder in their eyes. This land needs life again. New seeds planted in burned soil. And something tells me you can see the path to making that future happen, Watcher. Your kind always does. So then, we need to make sure you see truly now. This nation, its people, don't need any more lies blinding them, nor do I. You test the truth. You don't blindly accept it. And how do you plan to test me? Sharing the road, of course, one truth to match another, matching each other's pace, keeping rhythm. Other priests can keep their teachings and rantings. For my faith, my teaching, sharing the road is simple, hard truth. And when you knock one truth against the leg of another, why both legs stand firm. But now, if you strike a lie at the knee with the same force, why, you make a cripple with one leg to stand on. So is that why you carry that staff? Is that why I... Durance is about to launch into another volley of words. Blinks. Then he rolls it. See, that there has a double meaning. It could mean, do you carry that staff to turn people into cripples, right? Or to test truth, so to speak. It can also mean, do you carry that staff because you yourself are hobbled? Because you did not have the truth. Anyway, let's see. Then he rolls his head back and laughs deeply, the laughter coming until it seems the air was run out of his lungs, until it seems forced. Perhaps your words are worth listening to, Watcher. But the truth will win out. Keep pace and we'll see. So what's
The
that?
cost of troubling me seems to worry you little.
Tell me about Magran. Nah, tell me about you. So tell me about the staff. Durance glances at the staff, then at you and gives a crooked smile. Can't take your eyes from it. Durance himself favored such knotted twists of heat. It was said, no shame in it. So why are those symbols carved against it?
This staff is a history. Acts leave their mark. Some symbols fall into the ash, others blaze brighter.
That sounds like a different voice actor. What causes one to fade, another to rise.
Memory, meaning, it's same as the memories in your head, perhaps more trustworthy. Random acts, things done with instinct. They may make lines burning briefly through the wood. Acts devised, planned, that stay with you. Symbols form and tell the story. It's like all memories, except the staff burns it true. When a thought's close, you see it clearer, brighter. Once you forget, they get buried. But like rings in wood, the etchings remain. Keeps me grounded. Also, it's a solid walking stick.
So why is it that only watchers can see the symbols? They are energies of the spirit, a channel for one's faith. It's hard to say. There was a time when they glowed brighter, but now they're an aid in my work. Because the staff's markings stand out to a watcher, well, they sometimes identify themselves. And sometimes they're blinded to the staff as well. A gift of Magrin, perhaps, to cloak itself from sight that one isn't looking for it.
I suspect the answers will seed more questions.
Tell me about Magrin. Oh, you know her. You must. She's a many-headed bitch. What's your view?
Is a goddess, as fickle as they come, with all the failings you'd expect of an empress and a whore. Too many eyes, too many wants, too much to hold on to. That's the failing of a god. More aspects than words to describe her, like most of them. A god with many nations to oversee, only serves to spread herself too thin.
Although a flame rarely passes twice. So perhaps that's the only truth she embraces. Who knows? Gods get greedy. When it comes to fire, fire is a god's hunger. I have no idea what the hell is going on with his relationship with his deity. It is such a weird relationship that he has with his deity, and I don't remember at all. And it's just so weird. And the fact that I can't ask about how weird his relationship is with his deity right now is so bizarre. So what are her aspects? War transforms, fire consumes, trials purify. Warfare, fire, consuming, purification, and most of all, transforming. Trials as well, but all things are put to the test anyway. A trial can consume, purify, and transform. They're all linked, though at its heart is the flame, and the flame is what matters. It is the source of all things. Guess they should have started with that, eh? Any fool around a campfire knows that. Without fire... You know, I'm a big fan of fire. To hear some of the inner fires tell it around the hearth and bellows, even the halls of Ashfall, you'd think that fire brought life to man, and that fire was Magrin. Some of the older texts say she rubbed her hands together and they burst into flame. Or another god shafted her like a poker. Okay then. There are different perspectives on her then. Mine is only one side among many. But here's one. I can speak to how the losing side sees her, and that should tell you enough. Let me speak to what an Aediran sees. So what does an Aediran see? The Aedirans have a proper, polite translation for her. Excellence in war, tactical discipline. That's why they lost the fucking colony, of course. They were properly still quoting that while we had them bent across the decks. All their guns and cannon are fine, but useless when your staff is crackling light into their skulls, dispensing red gifts left and right. Aedirans call that elevation, divine awareness. Those words are welcome as shit on one's boots, and that's all they took back with them while they were running. A lesson learned at the wrong time. Almost feel a pang of sympathy for them. Almost. So what lesson is that? The title of a god isn't knowing a god. Adhering to words rather than walking the path, testing yourself in the heat of it. Walk until the words are stripped away and you feel it, burning in your heart. That is the lesson. That Aediran politeness, that petty adherence to the word of scripture as they saw it, that burned their ships, scarred them, kept them running throughout the Deerwood campaign. Divine awareness. There's no true faith in waiting to be tested. The best in battle have already shit themselves plenty, shit themselves until they're dry and can focus on the killing. This is a really interesting philosophy that he has. Let's ask him another stuff. Okay, so unfortunately... Oh, is that it?
What?
So until I rest, I can't talk to him again. That's actually really interesting. Okay, cool. Well, I need to rest, so... That's relatively convenient. Okay, so I can rest here for no bonus if I want, which we're going to do because I don't really have any other options. So we take a nap, and we can now talk to our friend Durance again. Questions. Tell me more about Magrin. Fear you may not like the hate by the Fire Watcher, but if you can bear it, then I will tell you what I know. So, who are our enemies?
More of a question if a god has any allies. Certainly not any friends. But yes, there were enemies.
Aethys, but we sorted that out. Then Hylia and her queen's crown of feathers and birds. Perhaps she claims to see the world from her perch. I hope she saw what happened to Aethys, and if she dares walk upon the earth where such fire runs. Her temples are things of windows and twittering music. If a bird falls, know that it's a victory. Seeing another set of darting eyes from the feathered bitch die is a pleasure to me. You seem to have a lot of rage, my friend. She and her clergy offer shelter to the Aethasian since his death. His humiliation. She's next for me. Okay, then. Something else about Magrin. Stare too long into the fire and you might blind yourself, Watcher. That and touching yourself might do the same. Okay. Does she have any allies?
Shaped for hunt and war. Abidan the Golem. Galawain and his beasts. The latter keeps us honest and awake. The other makes the tools by which we punish those who are not.
He probably would be vaguely familiar with all the deities in this setting, so guess what would wouldn't have been surprised if you hadn't. More gods than weeds in a field, and those are the only ones in this lifetime. They come and go, but are always here at the same time. Abaddon used to look human, got killed, then built a new gold body for himself. Transformation, with Magran's help. Perhaps she needed her own blacksmith to tend the fires. If so, Abaddon serves it. He's a weapon, a tool, not a god in my mind. Still, the people of Deerwood, the cities especially, hold him dear. So be it. Although if the reward for hard work and craftsmanship is a body like his, I'll keep my blood in my cock and hips to thrust with it. Okay then. So, Galloway? Monster Father, the Great Hound, and as for monsters, this world has quite a bit, and not just ones with 2 legs. It's as if he's made monsters solely to hunt them, to remind men of their place. He's busy more than I suspect. More monsters than sense, variation upon variation. He's busy making more. Maybe. His aspects are a confusing bunch, and considering he respects reversals of fortune, especially in beasts, perhaps not so confusing. No reason why Magran and he share a bed, in my eyes. Even if he does believe in the trial. A filthy Orlan god in many ways, howling and mewling, perhaps like they do. They can keep their beasts. I'll take fire and weapons any day. He does not like anything. He doesn't like his own god. He doesn't like her allies. He doesn't like her enemies. He doesn't like anything. He's just a cranky old man.
If doubts and curiosity plead. I suspect the answers will seed more.
That's interesting. This is acting like it. Oh, there must be something.
She's a god.
Let's see. I just asked.
Not a problem.
Unfortunately, like delving into that is going to be harder than I'd like. Okay, so here's the question. Where do we want to go now? I guess first things first, we need to go collect our pay because we need to have the money on us if we're going to be doing stuff. So we can build the Western Barbican next. We'll have enough money for it. And basically what I'm going to be doing, because this is how I did it the last time and it worked pretty well, is I'm going to be building all of the security buildings first. And once I've built all the security buildings, the merchant stalls are actually pretty useful. I could also get this, which gives +1/+1. So I might actually want to build this as well. Constitution. Let's see. But yeah, dexterity is a really, really powerful stat. So being able to boost that when I rest here is a big deal. So first things first, we're popping in here. And I believe we've fully explored this place. Why is there nothing in the treasury? I got paid. What's that?
It is good to see you here. I can feel a change in the air already. There is much to do. Is there anything I can do to help?
State of keep. Was the money already deposited in my... Doesn't make sense.
Ready when you are. Not a problem.
I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm pretty sure that's where the money is supposed to show up. Oh well, it's fine. So, we're going to start clearing out the woodlands areas first. Basically what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be clearing all the stuff that's to the west here. I'm going to clear, because you can see that you've got this like nice little cut-off section where you have this section of the map. So I'm going to try to complete this whole section of the map. It'll take 18 hours to complete my journey to the Black Meadow. I'm going to try going north from here if possible. Alright, we gained 580 experience just for walking here. Strangely enough. Okay, so. Hello, Mr. Friend. Bad idea. Okay, we're gonna actually pull back. Okay, that one's de-aggroed. It's prone. It's prone again. Done. And there we go. So we took out the forest troll. There are, of course, more. So I don't actually have enough money to construct this now. Hopefully I'll find some money here. Those interrupts. Okay, so this is actually a good check. So I can see I got the crit. That's not what I'm looking for. Interrupts. Okay, so a crit gives you a flat plus 25 bonus to the concentration check. That is something that I kind of knew, but was not positive on. So there we go. And what was that thing's concentration? 62. So these trolls are actually very, very easy to interrupt. So that's good to know. Hi, friend. Okay, I'm actually going to have him swap weapons. So he's prone for another few seconds. Still prone. Dead. Dead. Yes, not dead, he's dead. Okay, so cleared that guy out. Oh, hello. So that thing can knock down. Are you alone? Looks like you're alone. Luckily, it's now prone. And we're going to try and knock it prone again. We're also going to... I don't think we can knock it very far, so... Got knocked down. Unfortunately... Let's take a look at its interrupt. So, its concentration is 84. So on a crit, I have about a 2/3 chance of successfully interrupting. This thing is having a very difficult time actually landing a hit. Wow. But when it did, it landed in a major way. Okay, there we go. Whew. 1 hit, 3 wounds. Big deal. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and save this. So, as I increase my attack speed more and more, I'm going to have more and more ability to just pummel the enemies and keep them sort of hit stunned. Particularly big enemies with long attack animations like that. You can see that
Not a problem.
it doesn't have super high concentration. And you can basically just beat it down.
Ready when you are. You bet.
So it's dazed. Okay, I failed to... Never mind, I didn't fail to. I got a little bit of a knockdown. We're going to go ahead and knock it back. I'm not going to knock it back, actually. Interrupted it twice in a row. There we go, got another interrupt. And I actually just interrupted it again. Never mind, it engaged me again. Boom. Oh, man. So, I think that thing got off 1 attack.
Not a problem.
In that entire time, it got off 1 attack on a dare. Trees and shrubs have grown up around the ancient bones. So we got a fine wand here. We'll give that to him. And we can go ahead and do this. And there we go. So we can now get access to the Estern Wood.
Hello? Hello?
Nothing will slip past me.
Nothing will slip past me. Not a bad haul today.
Hey.
Okay, so he's gonna get detected. We're just gonna... Okay, they're attacking. So now we have a group of little ones. I'm gonna pull back a bit. Okay, it looks like some of them already de-aggroed, strangely enough. I was expecting them to stick around for a little longer than that, but... I'm gonna swap him to this. Actually, no, I don't want to do that. We're gonna just attack for now. He's going to attack. This guy, this scavenger, is really in a bad way. What? Okay. The Nature's Mark hits me. Oh man. Okay, so we can go ahead and take all this. All this stuff will be sellable for a pretty good amount. Let's see. Minus 10 deflection and reflex. Who needs stealth skill? Okay. Let's see here. We're gonna pop him forward. Okay, so whoa, there's quite a few of them here.
Not a problem.
You guys are all slow pokes.
Ready when you are.
Shit, I missed. Well, I didn't miss. I failed. Okay, he's put up a trap here. Jesus. That was a lot of damage. Oh. Okay. Yikes. That was scary. And let's see. We can pop him forward. Unfortunately, Ark is taking a pretty decent amount of damage. And you know what? These guys are actually behaving in an interesting manner. That's it. Oh, he has a crossbow, okay. Get down. Okay, done. So we can see we've got fruit.
Not a problem. Laying low.
Anything trapped? Nope. Shipment crate, Black Hammer. Need you to deliver your haul to Kern to sell. He will not speak to you unless you know the words Ik Nibion Elfilion. He's found in the gift after dark. Oh, there's a forest troll over here. Okay, so we'll go ahead and take out this forest troll. Are you solo? Probably. At this point, it should be. That did not knock it prone. Okay, so we finished the Forest Troll Thingamabober, which is good.
I'll see what I can find.
We can continue on. How much damage? I have done another 1,000 damage since the stream started. Oh
You
man.
might find this interesting.
Okay, so we got some shinies here. Let's see. Oh, I have 1,300 gold now. Is that enough? Yes, it should be. So we can start the Western Barbican. Get that done. Let's see. I have 8 prestige. So yeah, we definitely need... Whoa, 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 whoa. No, I want to leave scouting mode. There we go. You are alone, my friend. But yeah, it's kind of interesting because Arc is substantially lowering the amount of damage that's being taken by the tank. Like, there's a really big difference in damage taken because of all these interrupts. So, I should be able...
Just say the word.
Oh, shit. Shit. Shit, shit. Okay, we're fine. I thought those things had already backed off. So it's now stunned. It's a good thing, too, because it's now focusing on other people. Dem crits! And there we go. But yeah, you can see that basically all these interrupts are preventing it from even engaging people.
Not a problem.
Much less...
I shall be quiet
Oops.
as a calm sea.
Much less doing what it wants to do, which is punch them in the face. I think that this interrupt build is probably stronger than having a deflection build. An interrupt build is something that you have to have on your protagonist in terms of, like, there's no other character that's going to be able to have an interrupt build.
Not a problem.
This guy's prone for 4 seconds. Okay, we're gonna have everybody attack this thing. Except him. That's not good. So... Unfortunately, they're both engaging me now. Okay, I'm gonna try to knock this one down. This one's dazed. Are you... This one didn't get knocked down. Okay, I'm gonna try to burst this down. Why are you not flanked? I have 2 people on opposite sides of this thing. It should be flanked right now. Okay, so I should hopefully be able to just chain interrupt this thing and prevent it from actually doing anything. There we go. So, we took a little bit of extra damage there because there were two of them and they were both attacking Arc. If they weren't both attacking Arc, one of the things that I could do is actually basically just interrupt it, and then as soon as I interrupt it and it stops engaging me, walk away. And that's one of the really powerful things about interrupts is that they do break engagement, so they can you can use them to very, very strong advantage. So we're going to go ahead and save this. We've taken out all of the trolls in this area. And so we've cleared the whole north section of the map. We're now going to go down south, clear out that section of the map. Now, if I wanted to rebuild this character, I'm not sure if I would have changed his stuff. I think I would, actually. I might make him...
Not a problem.
I don't know. It's hard to say. Oh, God. Small children, run away!
Hey.
Okay, actually, I want to have him go forward. Is there any way... Okay, some of them already walked back, so we can try to keep this. Whoa! Oh God, they're faster than me. Oh, that's a problem. Okay, so I do not want to knock back. I do want to summon. Whoa, okay, that is way squishier than I realized.
Not a problem.
So these things actually go down super fast.
Ready when you are.
I'm hoping that some of them turn around. Okay, looks like we might have to fight the whole pack. Okay, so we're gonna have to fight this whole pack. Luckily, we should be able... to just blow them up. Boom. So that is a lot of hits. And well, we can AoE here. And pop a Holy Radiance. And there we go. So we took the ingredients, put that in our stash. I was thinking that those were going to be substantially stronger than they were. I don't know why I thought that. Did I get... So Holy Radiance will actually blow up those things. Good to know. So the wicks can be blown up with Holy Radiance. I also need to just be using Holy Radiance more in general, because it actually has some very powerful aspects to it.
Which is not.
That's just the deer seeing me. Okay, so this is a camp. So we can now go to the bridge if we want. Dead Adventurer. Oh god, that's not good. Can I outrun them? I have my speed for now, but I don't think I'm gonna be able to outrun them. Okay. We're not outrunning them, but that's okay. We can just blow these up. Okay, great. I gambled on a direction and I was wrong. There's more of these things than I expected.
Following your lead.
Okay, so we're going to just try to blow both of these up. No, we're not. We're gonna do this here. These two are gonna blow this up. These two blow this one up. One shot, one kill. Okay, so we are going to pop Holy Radiance.
Hey.
Okay.
You better run.
There we go. So, took out all the spiders. This is a much more dangerous world on
Quick and quiet.
Path of the Damned. I like it. I like it. Okay. Okay, so we're actually going to, because we are going to have difficulty
Not a problem.
clearing these things the way that we'd like to. There we go. Boom, 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 boom. No es problema, man. Oh boy. So here's the second half of that pack. Okay. So we hit them with the AoE and then just pop, 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 pop. So Fulvano's Voots. So interesting. So they give +1. What? Oh, did I actually equip them? No? Okay, so for whatever reason though, okay, so do I want? Yes. We're gonna give him the boots because Constitution is really a big deal for monks. I would love to have had higher base Constitution, but it's not fitting for the build. And it's also appropriate for Ark to have pretty decent Constitution. He's not exactly he's not easy to kill, shall we say. Unlike me, let's be clear. The character and the real person have very little in common. Actually, yes, very, very little in common. I have probably more in common with Aldrea at this point than I have in common with Artois. Which is, you know, a little odd considering that Aldrea is definitely not one of the characters that I consider myself to be aligned with very much. Okay, so that's a 5-second prone. We should be able to just... We're not going to be able to finish it here. You just have too much HP, my friend. Who asked it to have so much HP? Force trolls toast.
Hey.
Not a problem.
And it looks like we're pretty much done. So we've cleared out this area. Did we get a turn passing? No. Okay then, so we can now move on and head over to the next area. So we have a couple options for how we want to proceed here. And I think... we're just going to continue west to Magrin's Fork for now. Do I want to do that or do I want to go to the bridge? The bridge is going to be here forever, so we'll just go to Magrin's Fork first. And we'll complete this area, and we'll basically just clear the entire path to the town. We have a quest to turn in the town, and then we can do other stuff. We also have a lot of stuff to sell now.
Nice and quiet.
Okay, we're gonna deal with the will-o-wisps first. How many are there? Is it just the one? I think it might just be the one.
You better
Bum, bum, bum.
run. Catch this. No.
Shit. And we have not actually started beating on this thing, so let's do that. Boop.
Nice and quiet.
Alright. So... how are we doing here? I'm gonna pop out here. Then we can go over here and see who lives here. And why they have a will-o-wisp in their front lawn. Okay,
Quick and quiet.
nobody lives here now. And hello. Okay, so we got some camping supplies. Nothing else interesting, and now we can just move on. Okay, so popping over here. How close are we to leveling anyway? Not at all. Not at all close. Oh shit. Oh god, that's a lot of wolves. Okay, well that's actually a serious problem. Do I want? Yes, I'm gonna try and disengage. Honestly, I think these are weak enough that I can just fight them. I'm gonna pop Radiance immediately. And we're gonna swap him to Sword and Board. And get him on the front lines. Okay. I believe... okay, we're gonna go after this wolf. Oh boy. Get it. Get them interrupts. Okay, so now we should be able to just clean house with the AoEs. Oops. I screwed up the con. Boom. Done. So, cleared that out. Got some wolf pelts. Interestingly enough, we're only at 71% progress for wolves. Hello, Fulmar. Oh, hello there, begging your pardon, but you gave me a good fright. I thought I heard something rustling through the brush. Suppose it was just you, silly of me. Don't suppose you happen to need some supplies. I thought I'd make my way over the Modmere Bridge. But I'm thinking I'm better off heading back to town and getting more folks together. Better safe than sorry, right? Say, did you hear something? Wait. Is this a second pack of wolves? That's actually really funny. So these guys only have 65 concentration, so I think they actually have 75 base, and then they're having it lowered by the chant.
Not a problem.
By every star in the sky, thank you. I've never seen beasts so bold before. Strange times we're in. Here, take these. I'm headed back to Gilded Vale for certain. You can make better use of them. Yeah. By selling them. We're not using stinking consumables. Oops. Oh god. You know what, it's fine. Okay, never mind, it's not fine. It's not fine, nothing is fine! You guys want some of this? Ah! Goodbye, friends. So the key is that things like wolves, I can interrupt them, but then they have a very, very fast attack speed. So when I do interrupt them, I'm not going to be necessarily getting as much done as I'd like with it. But if I can actually get my attack speed to be a bit higher than it is now, through a combination of increasing dexterity and increasing my my recovery time through other means, my hope is that I'll actually be able to chain interrupt even those fast things so quickly that they can't actually get an attack in edgewise, because they're actually getting interrupted again before the first interrupt ends. That kind of hit stun is something that's feasible in a lot of games, but usually it's only feasible to have it happen to you as the player, right? Like an enemy hits you and hit stuns you, and then another enemy hits you and hit stuns you, and then you basically just get dogpiled and die. That's a very common thing, and being able to get vengeance on all the games that have done that to me. Do take care not to knock those over. Hello, pigs. Oh god, that's a lot of pigs. That is a lot of very, very, very fast pigs. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and use Holy Radiance. I'll be these pigs are just gonna wait their turn, it looks like. Okay, so everything about that was very confusing, but I'm gonna wait on this for a second. Okay, so we got the AoE off, and now we're gonna use the knockdown. Okay, so that boar's toast. He has not actually used his effect yet. So this boar has 90 concentration, substantially harder to interrupt. I'm actually just gonna blow this up first. 5 crush damage graze. That's how you do it. Okay, so we got those. I seem to recall those causing serious problems for me last time, so it's kind of nice to get my vengeance on those boars. And how are we doing? We're actually almost done with this map. We are getting there. I had my headset resting on my ears weird and it was hurting my ears. And this is not the right way. Can I get here? I guess we can find out. Yes, I can get through this path, so... I saw a corpse, which means that there's probably something that killed it nearby. Yep. Is it only the one? It's only the one, that makes my life a lot easier. Dun, 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 dun. And he's dazed and stunned and dead. Alright, so... Fulvano's Amulet. Plus 5 reflex and plus 25% healing received. This piece of parchment is torn and flecked with blood and troll spittle. What little of it remains reads, worried he may have come to harm. Once I reach Defiance Bay, I'll hire guides to take me back to Weston safely and see if we cannot find Fulvano. At present, I regret my eagerness to be away from Gilded Vale. It's very dark. Okay. So, that necklace is the same slot as my cloak or whatever I have, so I don't need that. Do I want to head to Anslog's Compass? I'd say yes. So we're going to head to Anslog's Compass. Whoa. Accidentally double-clicked. Okay, so... Two villagers stand by one of the tide pools. They're breathing harshly, clearly winded, look nervously as you approach. If you're here to fish, as we were, stranger, or you don't want to avoid the compass proper? A lot of ships ended up spread around the rocks here, so we didn't think much of the wreckage until we heard something. Terrible noise. I thought it was a survivor, but he wasn't alive. Moving, but not truly alive. It was awful. So, what do you mean? What did you see? Corpses. Walking corpses. We don't want any part of it, whatever the cause. Might be we can find something in these tide pools, then we're headed back home. So, what are you doing? Fishing, of course. Except I lost my fishing rod when I flung it at the head of one of those monsters. We were looking as the tide pools over and thought we'd try our luck down by the rocks. Got a fright of our lives. We'll have to make do with the nets here or go hungry. So there's lots of shipwrecks. All the time. It's a lovely place, but dangerous as anything to sail. Good fishing most days. I think we'll go further up the coast next time. Good tidy sea. Wait, do you hear that? Oh god! It's a swarm of Schwarps!
How...
These poor people can't catch a break. No! She's near death! We need to save her! I'm not sure if it can be done, but I'll try it! We need to save the day! I'm reloading. I can actually do this. I just need to be quicker on the uptake here. So, but I just don't want to have anybody go down. I don't think it's appropriate. I could have saved her. All right, so the key is I'm gonna have him stand here, and I'm actually gonna have him stand over here just in case.
Good day, stranger.
I do hear that, and I see it. Charge! So it looks like they definitely do always spawn at the same spot. I just wanted to make sure that... Boom. No problem.
Not a problem.
Perfect. Alright, so we can go ahead and save this. It's not super difficult to get that to happen. You just need to actually be in the right spot at the beginning. Because she does not have very much HP. I think that on Path of the Damned, NPCs are much more vulnerable to getting blown up as well. Excuse me.
Not a problem.
So she said not to go this way because this is where zombies are, which means that clearly we need to go this way. So, I met the helpful Deerwood woman while in Gilded Vale. She was an invaluable guide during my time in that sorry village, and agreed to accompany me some part of the way to Anslog's compass. We parted ways in the wilds known as Bagran's Fork, but I gave her my amulet so she might remember me fondly. Perhaps I'll return to these lands someday after all. Okay. So why did you leave a turquoise here? Okay, so... there's a shore up here. So that one is not a normal one. These two are normal. He's paralyzed. So I take back what I said about them being normal. Missed.
Not a problem.
Was not expecting to see a miss. Okay, so... god, there's way, way more of these than I thought. It should be fine. Oh god. It is not fine. Nothing is fine. Nothing about this is fine. Alright, we're going to dump this here. We're gonna have him blow up the pair behind him. I'm actually gonna have him... Boom! No longer flanked. So that is a spellcaster. I'm actually taking more hits to kill these things than I expected. Oh, this is a champion? There's a champion attacking Ark. Oh, shit. That's not good. Okay, well, we're gonna heal. Get that accuracy going. Luckily, the spellcaster is doing spellcasty stuff instead of anything dangerous. Do you have... He does not. So I need him to be closer. I can't move him though. Alright, well, we're fine. So what is their concentration? Their concentration is only 74, so it shouldn't be too bad. I'm gonna go ahead and... Whoa, Jesus! God, it just took so much damage. So these are both just normal Zhorips. Do I want... Yes. Nah, I'm not gonna do it yet. We'll see. Okay, so I can now just spam this as much as I want. Okay, so we're gonna... No. Bad priest. There we go. I'm gonna stand right here. And that's not the best spot necessarily, but got it! Alright, so that's one of the targets that was on Kana down. And there's still one on him, but it's not strong. Alright. Done. Whew. Okay, so...
Not a problem.
I came over here expecting zombies. I was not expecting...
Not a problem.
all of that. Unfortunately, Kana is going to be basically removed from the fight now. I'm going to go ahead and save this. I'm not in a great position here, but I think that was actually the hardest pack. I've played this once before a very, very long time ago. They've changed a lot of the mechanics. I've never actually played... I've never played a monk before. And we'll see how it goes.
Not a problem.
The original play file that I had, I think I would have failed if I had done it on Trials of Iron. I think I would have done like there were 2 failure points, I think, where I actually let my main character die outright, and the rest of the time, no. So I think that overall, the Trials of Iron shouldn't be that bad. I just have to play relatively safe. Though, to be fair, I did get myself within 10 HP of dying outright while I was unlocking the thingamabobber. So, Dead Valen. How is it so grand a journey as mine should lead me here? The people of Veer would call this pitiable lagoon a sight to see, but all I've experienced here is misfortune. I thought to explore the cavern by the water, only discovered it was home to sporelings. I went to see the vaulted compass and lost the bulk of my letters when I tripped over some driftwood. And last I made to inspect the dragon skulls nearby, only to be menaced by some foolish little Zworps. I'll return to Gilded Vale as soon as I catch my breath. At least the Zworps do not appear to have followed. Yep. I think they followed him. Okay, so... looks like we only have the one. Yeah, generally speaking, I don't like, whatchamacallit? Like, save restrictions on games, and certainly not the deletion of your entire save file.
Say the word.
I like to do Iron Man mode on things like Europa Universalis and Crusader Kings.
Ready when you are.
Like grand strategy games, I think that it's appropriate for. But I'm just kind of annoyed that on my first playthrough I pretty much could have gotten a Triple Crown if I had played a little safer than I did and I had actually activated it. So this time I'm going to at least make an attempt for it. Oh, these are vessels. Well, that changes things. Let's...
Just say the word.
Attacking the right one. I'm basically just trying to look for a position where I can knock them into the wall so they don't move very far. And... Boop-a-doop. Okay. Oh no, Adair! Oh, he's so low now. Okay, fine. So... oh god, that is way more than I was anticipating. Okay. I thought we were almost done! So this is... oh, right, because they're different races. Gotcha. I was thinking, but it's... they're different sizes. And can I actually get you? Yes, first one was... my first playthrough was right as the game was launched, so... all of the mechanics were way different. Like, there were a lot of changes that they made in the first, 6 months of the release of the game. So, like, one of the characters was, super ludicrously overpowered. But, yeah, so I am going to be doing the White March. I'm going to try to do all of the content, because this isn't a blind run anymore. The previous run was a blind expert Path of the Damned, because I find that enjoyable. This one isn't blind, so I should be able to just basically get all the content done, pretty much, because I don't have to worry about, looking things up if I feel like I'm missing something. But I don't know this game super well, because, again, I've only played it the one time, and it was a long time ago. So, but I really, really enjoy the game. I really enjoy the mechanics of the game, and I think that the writing is surprisingly good. Video game writing tends not to be great, So it's always surprising when you have a game that actually has decent writing. It's sad, but true. So that thing's prone for 1.6 seconds. I'm gonna go ahead and try to knock this one over as well. And the hope here is that I can burn these down, and I can. Basically, I want to burn them down before they do too much damage to Durance. But yeah, I tend to go a long time without resting, which is potentially going to cause problems for me during this run. But we'll see how it goes. While traveling west towards Gilded Vale, I encountered a fellow traveler with some considerable intelligence, and we engaged in a pleasant conversation. It came to light that the poor fellow had most execrable pair of boots on him. I gave one of my spare sets that he might better appreciate Valian craftsmanship. May they serve him well. For he said he intended to cross the wilderness known as Black Meadow. I can't imagine it's a pleasant place. So, that just gives you a hint to where all the stuff is that I've already gotten. Yeah, on my first playthrough, the one of the fights took me about 5 hours, I believe, of attempts to figure out how to actually get the boss down. It was a really, really rough fight. And actually, the last fight of the game was surprisingly difficult as well. I was surprised by how difficult that was. But, again, that was on a blind run. So, on this run, I think I should have a substantially easier time, since I'll have an idea of what I'm looking at. In addition, I feel like this character is a hell of a lot stronger than my last character. He's doing about as much damage as the rest of the party combined. So the previous character was not doing that much damage, I don't think. She was a DPS fighter, which was suboptimally built, and oh god, that's a bunch of dwarves. I don't want to fight a bunch of dwarves. Can I fight one dwarf? Whoa, hello. Looks like I can. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and knock you down, hopefully. Yep. Okay. Making him a battle mage. I don't actually know what that even means. I do not even know what that means. I've heard the term battle mage, but I don't even know what that means.
Hey.
Okay. Let's see. Failed to knock him over. How did he just get healed? So the interrupts are going to town on him for now, but there we go. Wielding summon state. I'll take a look at that. I'll look at those options when I get to it. But yeah, I don't have a particular build in mind for Aloth right now. He's just doing his thing. So I'll definitely look into that though, because I actually want to have an all melee party for the most part. I'm allowing myself to use ranged attacks on Aloth because it feels weird to not allow myself to use like scepters and things. But like, I'm not allowing myself to use bows, which is why I'm not using. He had a gun equipped, but I'm not actually giving it to him.
As you say.
So I've put a lot of weird, bizarre restrictions on my ability to actually function. I feel like ranged weapons have a tendency to be really, really, like, excessively powerful in games, especially when combined with movement speed buffs. So I'm allowing the wizard to use a scepter for now, but that's about as far as I've been willing to go for that thus far. Okay, so we've cleared out the majority of this area. Let's take a look here. How are we doing on 2 days? Okay, so we have a pretty significant period of time left for that. Oh, what? Is there anything to the west of here? No. Okay. Sand. After several days' journey, it seems that the time has come to part ways with my traveling companion from New Hayamar. A pity we could not see the compass together, but perhaps he will have as grand a time in Gairen's grasp. I've given him my gloves for safekeeping, and I will hardly need them in such fine weather. He just gave away all of his equipment. He's just like, who needs equipment?
Let's see what lies this way.
Okay, so... You know what? I'm gonna save this. So, we've got... Actually, I don't think I need to save it quite yet. I just realized there's... Oh, shit! What? No! No! Life is terrible. Okay, sure. I accidentally targeted Aloth alone, so he was the only one that was moving away. Everybody else was still charging. Okay, we can handle this, I think. This is just 2 Zoroarks. Okay, we should be able to burst these. Okay. And we lost 2 HP on Adair, which isn't great, but we can now enter this and that'll autosave, so... That's actually a problem that it's going to autosave now that I think about it. Okay, whew. I was worried for a second. I'm like, wait a minute, what if I enter this area and it instantly puts me into a fight? That would be probably pretty bad, right? But no, we're fine. So we're actually going to put these 2 on the front line. And we're going to try... It's pretty dank. I think that the dank spores actually summon more.
Ready when you are.
But I could be wrong. So we'll see. I have okay damage, so... Do I want him in front? You know what I want to do is actually use some spells. I don't know why I haven't used a single spell. My entire party is almost out of HP, and I still haven't used a single spell because I've been saving them for a rainy day. Okay, so let's do this. I'm going to have him use Holy Radiance first. And that might have been a mistake, actually. Let's see. He should really have a thingamabobber. We're going to use Repulsing Seal, because Repulsing Seal is amazing. And do we want to put these guys... I'm going to try to knock this one over. And unfortunately, he is downed. Because I am a noob. And... yeah, we're going to have to reload. Okay, so... screw that up pretty badly. And I do know how I want to go about
Not a problem.
fixing that. it shouldn't be too difficult. So, where's the, oh, there's, okay, there we go. So we're just gonna dump. Okay, we need. I should probably give Durance a shield. Or at the very least, give him armor or something, huh? Yeah, it's fine. It's all fine. We'll just leave them with their default gear, because their default gear is a greatsword, is it? Yeah, we don't want that. Do I want... Yeah, screw it. I've been using spells, we're fine. Wait, I can aggro this on its own? Oh, god damn it. Well, that changes everything. So I just completely wasted. I just completely wasted all those spells. Yeah, you can reload. That's the thing, is that, like, it's not actually terribly difficult. The Iron Man mode is not that bad in this one, which is the only reason that I'd be willing to touch it. Yeah. If it was like Europa Universalis, where it's saving every quarter second, and if you screw up, you just get a game over, then yeah, I wouldn't even bother trying it, because I don't know. I don't feel like that kind of gameplay is terribly you can't have difficult gameplay that also heavily punishes failure, because if you have to redo 10 hours of content every time you screw something up slightly, like every time you make a slight mistake you just have to restart, you can't actually have it be difficult, because if it was difficult, then you would fail, right? You have to fail in order for something to be difficult. So, let's see. We're going to use a repulsing seal here, which is going to hit our confused party member, but that's okay. And let's see here. Who are you attacking? I don't know who he's going after. So that one's on the ground. I can't do this because I'll hit him, so we'll realign. That kinda worked? Okay, I'm positioned incorrectly for this. Who are you attacking? Oh, he's attacking Adair. I think that that guy's probably out of range, but we'll try it. And I am gonna be totally boned here. Let's see. I have 99 health, so if I do go down, I'm not gonna die. I'm gonna heal myself so that I have a chance to actually kill myself, because killing yourself is always a good plan. And we'll drop this here. Oh shit, I'm knocked over. Almost, but not quite dead. I need this thing dead.
Following your...
We're restarting. I'm not taking the risk that he hits me for 38 damage and kills me again. I could not disagree more. The thing is that if you can't reload, and this is the problem with Iron Man modes generally. is if you can't reload, then the content can't be hard. It's just that simple. There's a reason Super Meat Boy has extremely fast iterations, and it's because you can't have difficult content that punishes you heavily for failure. So, if the game made it so that you couldn't actually reload correctly, then this difficulty setting would be designed with the intent that you could actually complete it without ever messing up any time ever. Because again, unlike in other games, you can't leave the building, you can't exit combat in any meaningful way, which means that you would never be able to screw up at any point during a 90-hour playthrough. So anytime you made a mistake of any sort, you would be punished for it, which means that the game would have to be so easy on Path of the Damned that you could reasonably get through it without ever making a mistake that was actually fatal. Which
Not a problem.
is a pretty big deal. Like, if you can't ever lose a fight throughout the entire time, you really have an extremely easy game. That's just the nature of difficulty. So, it's also why, like, if you look at games like Dark Souls is not a very difficult game. Like, it's very easy to go through Dark Souls and do a blind run of it and have no meaningful difficulty dealing with it. And the reason is because the penalty for death is strong enough that they can't actually make the content terribly difficult, because the content, if it was difficult, would be incompletable, right? Because the death penalty would basically prevent you from completing the content. So anyway, that's the basic gist, is that if you see games that are actually difficult, all games that are actually hard have very lenient death penalties. And it's not because of, like, you know, developers being easy on their players or anything like that. It's just, mechanically speaking, difficulty and punishment are directly antithetical to each other. Let's see. If you do any raiding in like an MMORPG or anything, one of the most important concepts that you have to learn is how to take the wipe. Like, that's one of the most important aspects, and it's not as simple as just, like, you know, not wanting to waste people's time. It's that if you, let's say that you're in the whatchamacallit, if you're in a race to see who completes the content first, right? Nobody's completing it on the first try because it's actually hard, right? So again, hard content you're not completing on your first try, because if you're completing it on your first try, it's not hard. That's just the definition of hard. So, let's see, what was I saying? Oh, so anyway, so in the actual, like, race for first, the team that basically gets the most attempts in on the boss is the team that's gonna win. They're gonna win the thingamabobber. The world first, like, attempts are gonna be by a team that actually is good at doing that. Okay, so we are no longer in combat. These guys are not holding us in combat, which is good. We're gonna just pop out of here, and then we're gonna kind of pop back in. But yeah, like, there were a lot of, and there's a lot of, like,
Just say the word.
a lot of gamers and a lot of game companies tend to think that the punishment for death is, like,
Yeah?
the same as difficulty because they think of difficulty as a means of punishing the player. They don't think of difficulty as like an end in itself. Like they don't think of the increased difficulty as a mechanic by which you can make the player have more fun because the content is harder, and harder content is more fun.
Not very helpful.
And we're going to drop some summons. Okay. These two are going to keep beating on this. Oops. Go ahead and blow that up. And should have these right here. Okay, there we go. Boop. Done. So, that was a little rough, but there we go. But yeah, so, like, if you look at the way that people play Diablo, if they're playing it on, like, hardcore, people who play Diablo on hardcore are playing a very easy game. If you're not playing on hardcore, you can take on fights that can legitimately kill you, so you can actually do difficult things. But as soon as you play it on hardcore, you have to be super safe all the time. You always have to be very careful, because if you aren't careful, you lose your progress. And that leads to substantially less interesting gameplay, because you're just beating on things that can't kill you, which is substantially less fun. Hey, there's a Schwar up here. Let's talk to Ranga. You find yourself facing a towering Alma woman. Her skin is warm gold brown of a dying sunset with pale white fish white patches at throat and hands. Wavy red-brown hair pulled into tight braids around the strip of bare skin that follows the curve of her skull flows down her broad shoulders.
Stranger.
Have you come from medicines and craftworks, or to share the fire? So, Opera sent me here. More of poor Radrick's frightened flock. You are kind to come all this way. Poor Opera must be beside herself. I imagine she gave you something as payment. Whatever it is, you keep it. I don't need coin. I need you to do something for me instead. There's a Jorp tried to the northeast, led by one of their priests. Tana was exiled from there a long time ago, and their scouts still lurk about this place, waiting for an opportunity to end his life. Let's see. This Jorp lets out a rattling squeak, head drooping. One day I will go for supplies, and I will come back and find my assistant slain. How will I help anyone then? You rid me of this nuisance, and I'll do what I can for Offra and throw in something for you too. I had to kill him on the way. They won't bother you anymore. Let's see. Truly, you're very efficient with your favors. Here, something for your trouble. Good. Then I shall set my full attention now upon the remedy for Offra. I will get started with the mixture, but I need one more ingredient. Some spores from the creatures in that cave there. Sporelings, they call them. It's a useful material. I need one for the mixture. You're welcome to any others you find. I have some spores here. So you do. Excellent. Give me one and I'll add it to the cauldron. This shouldn't take long. Let's see. The mixture is ready. Take this to Offra. Tell her to drink it before bed, as it induces sleep. She should find herself more energetic in the mornings. Tell her to eat more fish and cheese. The potion will sustain a healthy diet. Grant her strength. She's a rather frail woman, from what I remember of her. Let's see. So, what's in this potion, anyway? I can't reveal all my secrets. Some dank spores, you know that much. They'll bolster the strength in her soul, give her what energy she once stole. They once stole, okay? It will not cure the legacy, I can tell you that plain. I can tend to the ailments of the body, but not afflictions of the soul. Certainly not inflicted by the gods. I've explained this, but people will believe as they like. So let her believe. Perhaps that will help. Faith is a powerful thing. In the meantime, she'll feel much improved, and if her child should not be claimed by the legacy, then it'll be born healthy. That I can promise. Alright. Done what I can. As I promised, tell Offer I wish her well. Okay, so we're not gonna lie to the other woman. We're just gonna tell her exactly what this is. But yeah, the key thing is that different people have different ideas about what difficult is. And if you think something is difficult but you completed it on the first attempt, then you are wrong. It was not difficult if you finished it on your first try. I mean, maybe if you got lucky, which does happen, right? Like, sometimes you do get lucky and you complete something on your first try that you legitimately should have lost. That happens to me in Dark Souls. It happened to me in Cuphead. Like, I just snuck out a win. Yeah, I tend to play, like, Diablo 3 on Torment difficulty from level 1 on hardcore mode, and just go until I fail, right? But the key is that I don't have any expectation that I'm actually going to be able to make any meaningful progress or basically complete anything. And as a rule, you just have to avoid taking risks when you do that, because you will get killed if you take any risks. Because if you take on risks, you will fail. If you do something that is hard, then you will fail most of the time, right? Like, if you don't have a 90% failure rate, then what are you even doing with your life? It's so easy. But part of that comes down to the fact that, like, whatchamacallit? The way that I think of difficulty is very different than the way most people do, because of the fact that I do tend to do exclusively things that are so overwhelmingly difficult that almost anybody would just stop. They wouldn't even attempt it. People don't play things the way that I do. They don't, like, go through things and, like, make their lives as difficult as humanly possible for insane reasons. You were some time away. I worried you wouldn't return. Is that it? Have you brought it? What did Ronga say? I have it. Here it is. You really did it. Oh, bless you. Bless you. I don't know what I would have done without you. Now my baby will be safe. I can't thank you enough. Let's see. You should know something about the potion. So, Ronga says it'll make you feel better, but that's it. But everyone said I should have known. I've been so stupid. How could I think I'm sorry I wasted your time? Let's see. I got to see the ocean, so it wasn't so bad. Thank you for telling me the truth, she says. Indeed. Here, take this. You can keep what remains of Ronga's payment, too, and take this as well if it was... I didn't tell her that she did... I didn't tell her about that part. I've been holding on to it, but I think it'll do you more good. Suppose all I can do now is pray. Maybe the gods will be kind. I don't know about kind, but they'll at least be honest. No, the conversation was not particular. It was already sidelined, and the reason that I brought up Diablo Hardcore was because of... Oh, look at all that money lost. Oh, God. Yes? Hold, sir, but a moment. It seems that you've done dear Offer a great service. Anslog's Compass is a dangerous place, and yet you were able to venture there to meet her. Gilded Vale needs such courage in these dark times. Stout hearts willing to do what's necessary to save these people. Can I count on you among that number? So, what do you want me to do? It's a grim task that I ask of you, but I assure you there's no other option. Lord Radric must be stopped. Too long has Gilded Vale suffered under Radric's madness. He would cure Widewind's legacy by ensuring there are none alive in the village to be afflicted. I fear his own wife Ingrid might be at risk. The man has no mercy in him. We have not stood idle. My people and I breached their defenses intent on ending Radric's rule ourselves. We entered through the sewers under cover of night, but we were routed. There are dark creatures down there in the dungeons, the work of Radric's Animancer. It falls to you. Lord Radric has been called for further reinforcements, and soon there will be no stopping him. Our time grows short, and in this hour I must beg assistance where I can. He's going to almost owe us more than some rubble-strewn plot of land after this. Fling him from the ramparts, or else cut his head from his shoulders. I care not. Once his throne lies empty, Gilded Vale will have the stewardship that it deserves. I'll deal with him. That seems reasonable. Go kill the crazy person in charge. That sounds like a great quest. Then I commend you on your courage and thank you for your assistance, but I would not send you onward without due warning. Radric's hold is crawling with soldiers and sellswords, all loyal to Radric. They will not take kindly to intruders. In truth, they will be all the more alert for our failed efforts. A frontal assault would be unwise. If you would brave it, you could follow our steps and seek out the entrance to the sewers in the eastern edge of the moat. But several of my men were captured. It may be the entrance was found and sealed anew. Those men were under my command. I would be in your debt if you found some means of helping them. Once you make it inside, seek out my old friend Nedmar. He is a high priest. He's the high priest Baratheon, now that the Shining God has fallen. The good man, in difficult circumstances. He will listen to reason. Shining God. He never shone so brightly as when the bomb took him. The moniker is obsolete now. Ash does not shine. It's like if someone were to call you an attractive priest, Durrance. Nedmar can help you reach Radric, but he resides in the upper level of Radric's hold, protected by guards and mercenaries. You have to keep to the shadows if you mean to reach him without alarming the entire keep. Okay. Sure, I'm off. Then the gods bring you victory, friend. You will find Radric's hold in the east past the Esternwood. I wish you luck. Yeah, you're probably right about the money. I thought originally that it went to the treasury, and that you had to pick it up manually. But yeah, it's definitely coming to me directly. Anything? No events or anything. So, we need to finish the Western Barbican. Once we finish that, we could... The barracks is +3. It's Bailey. I want the Bailey. Okay, so yeah, I'm going to get the Woodland Trails next, because that'll give me the option to get Constitution when resting. And it gives me +2 and only +1 of this. And then from there, I'm going to build exclusively plus security stuff for a while. So, let's see. Sorry. I miss part of what you said there. Give me a second. Yeah, for me, I want to get the stronghold ASAP, so I basically just burst into the stronghold without doing anything before the stronghold. And that's just from a min-maxing standpoint. I want to make sure that I get the maximum number of turns with the stronghold.
Not a problem.
But yeah, let's see here. We have the Blackhammer Smithy to deliver stuff to, and all that jazz. Oh, that's interesting. The accuracy of the knockdown effect is higher than the accuracy of the other effect. Is it? Or is it the other way around? That is very strange. I'll have to take a look at that later.
Hello.
Found the shipment you were waiting for. Why, so you have. This is excellent news. We can finally get back to work and show the real black hammer quality. None of these flimsy little swords. Here, I'll give you a taste. Might not have much in the way of materials to work with, but it's still black hammer craftsmanship. You go on and take that. And here, have some coin for your troubles, too. Did you find anything with the wagon? Bandits overtook the wagon. They doubt they survived. Poor fools. Always told them they ought to hire some guards instead of palming the extra coin. I'll have to hire on more hands. Don't suppose you want to settle in Gilded Vale. Do some delivery work? Yeah, my thanks for your assistance. Give me some time to work on the forge, and you'll have to pick the rest of the... blah, etc.
Good day, stranger.
Let's see. I'd like to see your wares. I don't actually want to see your wares. I just want to sell you 1,000,000 objects. I don't need a bow. Yes, give me all the money. I do not need a fine crossbow. And let's see how much money we make up for this. Oh, what was the last thing? It's just a hat. Okay. And I'm not going to sell this stuff yet because I might at some point use it for crafting or something. Okay, so we're sitting on 2,800 buckaroonies. We're in good shape there. Why would I want to avoid hard fights? Avoiding hard fights seems like the exact opposite of what I'm doing. That's the exact opposite of what I'm going for. I want all the hard fights. So there's a villager here. We're going to go on to... Do I want to just go back home to rest? I think I do, actually. I'm just going to pop back home, take a nap. This will also spend a little bit more time. But yeah, I like, at this point in the game, I feel like the protagonist is, what's the word? He's pretty chill. Like, Ark has not, like, gotten any, like, what's the word? He's been given no real impetus to go anywhere or do anything in particular. He just doesn't care right now. So I'm going to go ahead and talk to Durance. So we're going to save first because Durance is a touchy bastard who you can only talk to a little bit at a time. So in my previous playthrough, I never actually ended up finishing his quest. Because in my previous playthrough, I was relatively strict with myself with regards to how often I was allowed to rest. This playthrough, I'm being much more lenient.
If doubts and
So let's see.
curiosity play,
Tell me about the region. So, tell me about the Saints' War. Keep forgetting your feet are new to Deerwood. The Saints' War.
wasn't a war. It was a god stepping past himself. The country of Raid Saris and all their heathens. They're paying for it now. Although by my count, the fire should have roared through their country with more force, catching all their souls. Truth wasn't even a war. It was a cautionary tale about pride. Specifically, Whitewood's pride. They should have stayed afar.
So what happened? Was what? 15, 16 years ago? 2807? My memories are back with a younger me. I don't hold on to dates, I hold on to actions and causes. The war was an act of arrogance born straight from Raid Saris's twitching legs. A man thinks himself more than a man. Want to kill someone? Tell him a god speaks through him. Then tell him he means to lead. He means him to lead, which puts him in front of an army. And the army was as strong as you'd expect from Raid Saris, as sick as that country was to begin with. Yet a war was likely just what they needed. What's wrong with the country? Raid Saris has its share of problems. It deserves all of them. It deserved Widewind. He was the light that led them to flame. Raid Saris was in decline. A deer poison already eating its veins. Economic bleeding. The dying of their faith. Then Widewind, this farmer, claims to take up Aethys in the flesh and gives them the worst kind of hope. So what happened next? They crown him. They make him king, the worst kind of blasphemy. And once he wears the crown on his head and the god in his flesh, why, he starts making changes. Divine changes. Then he decides he's going to save us. Change us. He marches on the Deerwood to free us from our beliefs, like he freed the other souls in Raid Saris. Cold Morn offers up his belly with no resistance, and it's spared. The bloodshed starts when he sacks Mercy Vale. A touch of irony, that puts it to the flame. Cold Morn. Cowards. The Cold Morn is an apt name for them. They lay still, frozen while their fellows burned. They'll pay Magrin's price one day for such cowardice. By the way, this part where he said, what did Aethys do next? I don't think that Ark or most of my characters, in fact, would refer to this person as Aethys instead of Widewind. Widewind is what they would refer to the person to. They would have absolutely no belief that this person was an actual god. Aethys keeps marching. Deerwood takes to the trees, cutting at his flanks, his scouts, his troops. It seems near hopeless, until Helgot Citadel, the Godhammer. There we put him to flame, burned the god out of him, if there ever was one to begin with. Dozen brave men and women take to the bridge, make a stand. Then we torched him there with the fire of the Godhammer. Okay. So, tell me about Hallborn.
That's a curse that runs deeper. It's a Godhammer of a different sort. And like the Godhammer, it was made by men's hands.
All things have a price. Left unchecked, faithlessness, virtues, it leaves marks on the souls until souls don't have the strength to enter the bodies that are pure. Animancers, ciphers, all who play games with the fabric of souls are to blame for the barren field they leave behind. All who play games with the fabric of souls. You know, he probably includes Watchers in that list. Yep, there we go. Even Watchers can do the same. Some simply watch, others try to weave souls, guide them as surely as Widewind across Ewendir. That's why I correct the Hollowborn when I find them, and the ones whose hands have led to the seed being spilled on the ground. Correct the
There
Hollowborn?
are fewer souls. There are more vessels. It is simply equaling of the process.
Let's see. I'm not sure if someone is brain dead, then even like by modern standards, it's not classified as murder to not force feed them anymore. So this is a pretty big stretch. So I don't even know that like. I don't even know that number 2 is something that he would go with. I mean, I think I'm just gonna keep asking about other stuff because that's just not something that I can imagine being pressed by a character like Artole. Like, he doesn't care. Morality is not the kind of thing that he gets that heavily invested into. Like. So anyway, let's see. So is there a tie behind him?
This was the god of rebirth, and his light does not fall on the Deerwood. I've heard some claim it's his doing, his death. It's closed the halls to new souls. I doubt it. The Hollowborn have their roots in the acts of men, women, I feel it.
To be fair, the God Hammer was in fact the axe of men and women. Okay.
Not a problem.
So, we can now continue on. The question is where we want to go now. We could go to the Esternwood. We could go to the bridge. And do we want to do that, or do we want to start going down? I think for now we're going to go ahead and finish exploring the west side here. Once we finish that, we'll go down. As far as I can tell, monks are just masochists in this game. There's no actual philosophical association with monks. Like, there's no particular, like, what's the word? There's no particular, like, set of, like, characteristics that are associated with monks in particular as a class. Like, there's 1,000 different ways to get to this class in this setting, so... But yeah, I'm going to finish all this stuff that's on the west side first, and then I will, and then I'll go back to the other place. So, he just got stuck for 10 seconds, which means that... Whoa, 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 why did you guys turn around? Okay, so this is a Dwarf Skirmisher, and he's going after him as well, so we'll just have Ark pop around the back side. And you can go in the front. Actually, I'm going to have him go after the priest. That way I can flank it. So he can go ahead. Wait, did the priest get chunked already? Wow, that's fast. Alright, well. So much for that. Oh, I need to start up the next project. Alright, so we'll start up our next stronghold project. We've now got our security equal to our prestige. Oh wow, we actually have so much money now that we can... I don't know how we got this much money. Oh, right, because I did a bunch of stuff. Do I want to build this curtain walls? Oh, actually, do I want the craft hall instead? Maybe. Nah. Okay, so the thing that I was looking at just now was this... No, it wasn't the hedge maze, it was something else. The woodland trails. So this gives +1 prestige and +2 security. It gives a constitution bonus when resting at Bright Hollow, which is good. But no, I think I want this. The constitution bonus isn't as good as getting a dexterity bonus, so I'm doing the dex bonus instead. Alright, so we're doing this, and we will continue on.
I'll go on ahead.
Fine hatchet. And here we go. Nothing interesting there. Okay, so that still has the... Okay, so we've got a Dwarf here. I'm gonna go ahead and... Are you alone? Dear cat. Okay, so this is probably yeah, this is a pack that's gonna have some fun stuff in it. We're gonna pull back a bit. I don't know what you're casting. He's casting Holy Power. Okay, the fact that he was casting Holy Power there means that I should have it easy enough time separating him out. What was that? Something shiny just happened over here. What? No! No! Damn you NPCs! Did it? Oh, I knocked it prone. Oh god. Okay. Whew. That was close. We almost lost an NPC here, like, completely randomly. Curse my luck. The Bridge to Defiance Bay is out. If that's where you're headed, you'll need to find another route. We'll destroy the bridge. The river's been rising on account of all the storms. Here where the river narrows, the flooding did the most damage. Guess they don't make things last around here, do they? One of the stone columns collapsed in the flash flood, taking the whole middle section of the bridge out to sea. Modbeer Bridge is one of the most direct routes from Gilded Vale to Defiance Bay. Merchants and travelers now have to find both patches or add days of travel around the bay. So I started this ferry service thinking I'd earn some coin and help others across the bay. And that was the bigger mistake than the time I allowed a cipher to court me. How so? I'd been attempting to turn a quick copper, but just my luck, the blasted currents threw my ferry into the rocks, dashed it and my profits to pieces. Making matters worse, when I went to prowl the shore and salvage whatever shipping crates didn't sink, a pair of looters attacked me. The damn brigands had the nerve to attack. I managed to avoid harm, but now they have stolen by force all that was left to my fortune. You know, you look like you'd fare better against those looters than little old me. Can I enlist your help? I'll take a look. Thank you. I'm sure those thugs have made a mess of my stock, but maybe there's something to be saved. So how do I get to Defiance Bay? With the bridge destroyed, your best bet of action is to following the river north. You'll be able to cross further upstream, but you've got a long walk ahead of you. Okie dokie. Well, all set. So we're going to save because that guy did not die, and we're saving the game before we run into another dangerous situation that we didn't anticipate. Because having an NPC die is a big no-no for me. So hopefully we can have a
Not a problem.
decent time here. So what are you people guarding? Dead. Oh my god, hello. So these are trolls. They're somewhat bigger than the other ones were. I guess putting the wizard in front isn't necessarily the best plan.
Not a problem.
Come on, come on. You took way too long to get that started, my friend. I think he's far enough away from his friend now to take him out. You're chief. Okay. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Are you attacking Ark? That's not good. That's also very unexpected. So, what's your concentration? 78? That's not good. I only grazed it. Oh, that crit saves me at the last second. It was about to finish its attack, too. Okay, so we can go ahead and just start pummeling it. And we can actually back out. because it was knocked over. And it's now going to attack him, unfortunately. Which leaves us with the question of how do we want to handle... Can we blind it? This is defend against will. You know what? I'm going to just blind it. So it's now blind. I actually feel like I should probably just be stockpiling the free damage here rather than using my wounds for other stuff. Maybe I can use it now though. Jesus. Whew. That was painful. Painful. Alright, so we're gonna probably have to be a bit more careful. I could have rather than trying to like burn it down with chain interrupts, I could have actually checked and waited for an interrupt and then just got backed out, and I should have done that. So we're going to do our best to burn you down. I'm just going to swap him to this. I'm going to burn this. This, and actually going back. Because I need to go around. So he's now flanked. He's now dazed. We're going to try to knock him over. And we got him prone with a glancing blow. We're going to go ahead and try to stun him. He's now stunned. We can burn lots of damage into him now. He's now dazed for a substantially longer period of time. And he's now swapped over to Arc. And unfortunately, I failed to interrupt with that attack. Shit, that's a lot of grazes. And it's not actually engaging me right now for some reason. Fuck. So many wounds all at once. Interrupted troll. Boom. Done. Whew. Okay, so nasty business there.
Not a problem.
So let's take a look at my... Yeah, that was just bad luck that I got that many grazes all in a row. It doesn't have particularly high deflection. But if you do get a graze, you're not going to be interrupting her. You technically could, but it's not a very high chance. You get a minus 25 to your concentration, or not your interrupt roll.
On
I was gonna say I'm stuck in combat. Anything interesting here? Nope. Okay. Okay, so we finished this section, and we can now move back over to the east. We've got probably about half the content in this area done. Actually, probably more than that now that I think about it. Because there's going to be a bridge somewhere that I can't go onto. I would assume. Okay, so this guy has a bow. And there's a friend here. So we're going to go get this. I forgot that you can queue actions in this. Yeah. An archer in melee is not going to last very long. Okay. So, let's see here. That is a lot of peeps. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and just save this. And I'm going to organize myself in a hopefully coherent fashion to get the job done. So we want him to... Oh shit. Hi. Where's Brettel and Taryn? They were just up along that path we heard fighting. Let's see. Who? Ark isn't a total dope. I'm gonna go with, they attacked us. You killed them? You speak of self-defense. Well, we're defending ourselves from this storm. The floods took our entire farm. We have nothing left. Nothing. No food, no roof. Now I don't even have my cousins. We don't want to fight you. We've lost enough already. Please just leave us. Does it change the fact that you're stealing? Then you leave us no choice. Okay, then. You have a crossbow. You are... Let's see. Gonna go after Hanwin with him, I guess. I have Arc pop into this one, I guess. Just go straight at it. I'm gonna go after this one with him. And let's do a quick pause. So, this thing is going to give me some wounds on Arc, which I can then use. Okay. Okay, it's not going to give me a lot of wounds, but Hanwin is actually on Arc, so... Oh, this AoE is going to be really mean-spirited, but it's going to be fun. Oh, the other one moved. Them deeps. No. Just no. Just no. So, that whole song and dance was because she was afraid that she wouldn't be able to actually handle us. The whole, like, you know, we're just, you know, trying to survive thing is what every bandit ever has said, right? When they're basically just taking advantage of bad times to steal from other people. It's like the people that you're stealing from also have families, and they're trying to do, like, legitimate work to, you know, feed their families. Whereas what you're doing is attacking and killing people and stealing their shit, right? And it's clear that they're attacking and killing people and stealing their shit because these two attacked us on sight, right? They immediately attacked us. So these people here are basically, as soon as she heard that we had taken these two out, she realized she was in over her head, and that instead of her and her friends killing us, it was going to be the other way around. But that's the only reason that she took that song and dance. If she thought that she could take us, she would have just attacked us. My helpful stranger returns. Have you managed to find anything yet? Even if all you found is... Thank you. I was beginning to think that it all sucked into the bottom of the river. Consider this a small token of my gratitude. I will reward you properly when you visit my shop in Defiance Bay. But yeah, one of the things that's important to remember when dealing with people is that people lie. Habitually. They say what they think will get them the best opportunity in a given conversation. They're not honest. Pretty much under any circumstances.
That over there? That'd be the easy way to get to Defiance Bay.
Oh, 1 second, I believe there's someone at the door.
Hi.
Hello.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Okay, that is a delivery. And I'm going to have to actually deal with that because that has refrigerated goods in it that I'm going to have to put away. So it is about noon, which is earlier than I would normally end. I would normally keep going for probably another couple hours, but I think I actually am going to end here for today because I need to put away this delivery and I have other housework to do, and we're in a good, convenient place to stop. I could put this stuff away, but I feel like going into the Esternwood and then going immediately into the Keep, I probably don't have time to do that today. I could do the Esternwood but not do the Keep. So rather than try and push it, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to end it here. Next time we will be going into the Esternwood and going into the Keep, finishing up this section of the map, finishing up all these quests, and then we'll go past Cape Noir into other places. So anyway, that is going to be it for today. Thank you everyone for watching. It has been a pleasure to stream for you today, and I hope to see you all again next time.